Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a quick video that will teach you 4 different ways of using the word proprio. I know, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to say proprio. The R, the P can be tricky, but practice saying it, and if you have problems with pronunciation, you can also check my pronunciation course, which is a 5-star, my baby. I'm very proud of that course. It's a 40 video course that teaches all of the different pronunciations in Italian. It's wonderful, it's amazing, and my students are loving it. So if you want to check it out, look at the links here below. Going back to proprio, I will teach you 4 different options of using this correctly in Italian. It's very, very common, so you will hear it all the time. Let's immediately go to the first way of using it. You can use proprio to intensify what you want to say. The meaning here is, let's say I would translate it with just or really. For example, I could say, il video è proprio bello. So here I'm saying the video is really nice. So I'm using proprio with the meaning of really to intensify how nice this video is, which I hope you agree with me. Let's look at another example. Quello studente è proprio bravo, meaning that student is really good. So once again, I'm using proprio to intensify how good that person is. Another example, sei proprio tu? Is it really you? Or, questo film è proprio brutto. So once again, you're intensifying. So with sei proprio tu, you're saying, is it really you? Like you're adding that extra emphasis on, really? You're not kidding? Or the last example, è proprio brutto. It's really horrible. It's really ugly. So it intensifies how ugly something is. As I said, it can translate to really or just. This second translation is especially true when it is paired with words like adesso, ora, or like a numeral adjective that talks about time. Let's look at a couple of examples to make this clear. Ho finito di parlare con Nadia proprio adesso. In this case, I'm saying I just now finished talking with Nadia. Let's look at the second example. Giacomo è uscito da casa proprio 5 minuti fa. I'm being more specific with time, and I'm saying Giacomo just left the house 5 minutes ago. Let's look at the second way of using proprio. The second option of using proprio is when you're indicating possession or ownership, because proprio can become a possessive adjective. In this case, you have to be very careful, because when it becomes a possessive adjective, proprio will also make changes in terms of number and gender. So you can have proprio, propria, propri, proprie, depending on the noun that it is referring to. So you have to match it like any adjective in Italian, okay? Take note that when proprio is used as the third person singular, its meaning is exactly the same as the words suo, sua, suoi, sue, loro, indicating possession. Let's look at 2 examples. I could say Paola lava la propria tazza nel lavandino. Or I can say Paola lava la sua tazza nel lavandino. So I'm talking about Paola, so I'm using the third person singular when it comes to conjugating the verb. Paola lava la propria. Paola lava la sua. Both are good, both mean the same, And what do they mean? It means Paola washes her own cup in the sink. Let's look at another example. Erika porta I propri figli a scuola. Or I can say, Erika porta I suoi figli a scuola. In this case, I have the third person. The meaning is the same. And what am I saying? I'm saying Erika brings her own children to school. Okay? Honestly, your choice, which one you want to use, but just be aware that the meaning is the same. Another important thing that I want to point out is that you can also use proprio when you have impersonal verbs. So those verbs where the subject is not so clear, it's very generic, you're talking in general, so you don't have a subject at all. So not even not clear, you don't have a subject, okay? Look at this example. Ognuno deve pensare al proprio lavoro. In this case, you don't have a subject because ognuno means everyone. So you know you're being very generic. And you're saying everyone needs to think about their own job. Okay? You're not pointing out to a person, you're not pointing out to yourself, you don't have a subject. Let's look at another example. Ogni studente deve fare il proprio compito. Once again, you're generalizing. You're saying each student has to do his own work, okay? So you're not saying to that student, you're not talking about Mario, Paolo, Maria, you're being generic. That's what I mean when I use impersonal verbs. Verbs that don't refer to a specific subject. To give extra emphasis on this idea of possession, you could actually use the words suo, sua, so the possessive adjective together with proprio. In this case, you're giving an extra emphasis of the ownership or possession. Look at this example. Gianni vive nella sua propria casa. In this case, I'm saying Gianni lives in his own house. Adding sua and propria together gives that extra emphasis of ownership, that it's like his house, okay? Now let's look at the third way of using proprio. You can use it if you want to say that something is precise, accurate, specific. For example, hai proprio capito bene, with the meaning of you have understood it correctly. È successo proprio come dici tu. It happened exactly how you say it did. Or you can use it to translate the word indeed with a sentence like hai proprio ragione. You are indeed correct. This is super common. The fourth way of using proprio is when you're using negative sentences. In this case, you are intensifying the negative sentence. I would say that this translates to at all. Look at this example. Oggi non mi sento proprio bene. Today I don't feel good at all. So you're using proprio to intensify the fact that you don't feel well. Non mi sento proprio bene. So it intensifies the non, okay? So the negative sentence. Let's look at another example. Non voglio proprio andare. I don't really want to go at all. Okay? Once again, it intensifies the negative sentence. Non mi piace proprio. I don't like it at all. Okay? So this is another very common use of proprio. Now, little bonus extra information of proprio with the preposition in. You can also have this expression, in proprio, and it means basically self-employed or that a person has started his own company. Let's look at two examples. Paola lavora in proprio. Paola is self-employed, like she's a freelance. Or Noemi si è messa in proprio. Noemi started her own business. Okay, in this last case, you have mettersi in proprio. So you're using also the verb mettersi together in the expression. Okay, excuse me for my voice, still recovering from a bad cold. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Write a sentence with proprio and I will correct it for you. Write it in the comments below. I'm more than happy to help you in your language journey. See you next week. Un bacio. Ciao.